But we are happy to welcome another member of Utah State basketball to the show, and I'm praying we don't have more technical difficulties. We've got Tucker Anderson on the show. Tucker, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you. I don't need any more problems.
Yes. Cause for celebration. Now, Thanks for your time and thanks for your patience today. And let's just get started with my first question to you is your decision to choose Utah State after being named the ASUN Freshman of the Year, a strong season as a freshman, an opportunity to come play on a bigger stage. What led you to Utah State and signing with Coach Calhoun?
Right. Yeah. The portal process has just become, I think it gets crazier every single year. And as I kind of entered the portal after my freshman year, people kind of told me it would be a little hectic, a little crazy. And I was like, sure, whatever. I just kind of went into it blind, didn't know what I expected. Knew I had a good year, but didn't know what was going to kind of follow that up. So as I entered the portal, Coach Calhoun had actually texted me while he was still at Youngstown State. And so at the time I was like, I don't know if I'm looking at Youngstown State. That doesn't really look like a spot for me. But then he texted me when he got the job here and at Utah State. And I kind of went through the process of going through my visits. And Utah State was actually my last visit. And to be honest, I was tired. I was kind of going into it just kind of like, all right, just let me get through the visit. Let me be able to look at everything, make my decision. But Coach Calhoun had met me at the Salt Lake airport as soon as I landed. And, just throughout I think it was only about a day and a half I was here, I just kind of knew, just with him showing me how he was going to help me develop through his offense, how he was going to, develop me as a person as well, and just the community aspect of it as well. I got to talk to Ian Mason and Big Fish on the visit, and just being able to sit down with them and talk and just be able to pick their minds about, what do y'all need to get better this year? Like, what are y'all goals? And just being able to talk with them meant a lot, and just really felt like home once I was able to get up here.
So what were those areas that Coach Calhoun talked to you about, working into the offense? What was kind of his pitch to you as far as your potential role here at Utah State?
Right. One thing I've been known for is my three-point shooting. And, as teams continue to kind of scout that, I got to be able to do more. So, it's like, what can I do on top of just being able to shoot a catch and shoot three-point shot? And so we went out on the court, and he told me how, as I get stronger and he helps my basketball IQ get better, just being able to come off screens or be the one setting screens or being the one dribbling up the court, getting into the offense, just being able to play different roles, not just kind of just doing one thing in an offense, but being able to do a little bit of everything.
Through your basketball career, you're 6'9". How often are coaches trying to peg you in as a power forward or a forward, but you like to be playing more out on the wing? What's that process been like for you to kind of find your place where you really feel like this is who I am, this is what I like to do, this is how I can excel as a player?
Right. No, so actually as a kid, I was just having a mom that's 6'4" and a dad that's 6'5". I was pretty tall as a kid, so I got used to playing post. But then when I moved to Arkansas, I actually was a sixth grader playing up on our freshman team at the school I was going to. And so that kind of made me have to develop some point guard skills, and I played point guard for that team. And then as I got into junior high and high school, I kind of grew a little bit later than everybody else. And so I kind of developed more guard skills. And through high school, I just kind of became more of a guard and just got used to shooting and putting the ball on the floor and all that, and became really comfortable with it, with how I didn't grow as fast as some other people. And then just kind of fell in love with being able to, use my size inside when I need it, but also being able to pop out and shoot the ball or pop out and, exploit a mismatch as well.
And of course, we're seeing this is not like new. I mean, this is kind of the evolution of basketball. We see a lot of players with height and length who are very comfortable out on the wing. And so this isn't like you're kind of a revelation here. I mean, this is something that's changing with the world of basketball. But you're kind of a player that's not just 6'7", 6'8", you're 6'9" out on the wing. That also, I would assume, make you a decent defensive presence out there with your length at that position.
For sure. I think right now, with the Olympics going on, that's a perfect example. Like, you look at some of the teams across the world, just how the game has changed where, guys like Kevin Durant, who kind of went, nuts earlier in the Serbia game a couple of days ago, just guys that, my height and above, just being able to shoot the ball makes them so much more dynamic instead of just having one thing where, they can't shoot outside of 15 feet. And like you said, just having a longer wingspan and being taller also helps with keeping guys in front and just being able to guard different positions as well.
So both you and Mason were players who had a lot of success as freshmen. A lot of freshmen, they play kind of a minimal role in a lot of cases, and they're supposed to get better, and that's when they maybe become starters. But both you and him were really good as freshmen. I guess, what's that generally like to have, be kind of ahead of the curve, but how do you also try and not settle for, okay, I was good as a freshman, don't have to work hard? How do you try not to settle after having such a successful freshman season?
Right, yeah, you kind of, you come into college and some people know the role, some people don't, and so you kind of go into that freshman year knowing that it's going to be a challenge and knowing that, some of these guys you face are 23, 24 years old, have been in college for 4 or 5 years, and so they're experienced, they're stronger, they're bigger, and so, throughout my freshman year, I felt like I got thrown in the fire pretty early, starting almost every single game my freshman year and playing 30-plus minutes a night. Like, you have to learn to adjust to people. Like, you can't just expect the way you scored in high school to work in college because everybody's so much bigger, stronger, faster, and taller. So I think that really helped me and challenged me my freshman year. And then same thing, after, even though I had a great season last season, knowing that, this conference is tough and knowing that you can't let the success you had last year carry over to the next. Like, each year is a different challenge and you have to continue to get better because, everyone else is working out, everyone else is practicing and getting better at the same time.
What have you observed with this team as it's come together and you've had a lot of practices here recently, and just the versatility of this team and the skill level of this team?
Yeah, I think one of the main things with our team is just that some teams you kind of walk in and, you just got, like, there's this one guy that is just going to be the guy that's need. I think with our team, we have so many dynamic guys that have been so good for their own teams that have come here. And then obviously with Mason and Ian and KT and Fish and all them, it's just they don't, like, we don't have to have someone that has to go out and, score 25 a night. Like, there's so many good guys on this team that we can play team basketball and have a guy score 10 here or 10 there. Like, we don't have to have kind of rely on one person to do everything for us.
And we're talking with Utah State men's basketball forward Tucker Anderson. Want to ask about, big reason why we're having a lot of these interviews is to help introduce fans to each of the players. I guess if you're introducing yourself to the fans, like, what do you want them to know most about you, your game, what you're bringing to this team that a lot of these fans root for?
Yeah, I come from a basketball family, so I've lived kind of in this life my entire life, and what I want to bring to this team is just being able to shoot the ball in space before. But kind of as we talked about, use my height to different needs, whether that's, okay, I got someone shorter guarding me, like, let me exploit that, or hey, Mason's doing really good, or Ian's doing really good, let me set them a ball screen to get them a switch of their ideal matchup. So just kind of being able to use versatility this year to kind of help the team in whatever aspect that may be.
Kind of help. You mentioned, playing with, helping set up guys like Mason and Ian. Like, how important are these practices to help, get to know these guys? Because you try and play off of these guys, work with them. How long does it kind of take to, be able to effectively work alongside these guys, develop the chemistry? Is that tends to be the word, the chemistry, to make sure that everyone knows what each other is doing, so that you can produce the best on offense.
Right. It takes a little bit just because you got to get used to seeing how everyone plays. And, some guys like the ball at a certain spot when they're shooting, so you try to pass it to that certain spot. And, I think we are fortunate enough to go to Italy and Croatia here in a little bit, so be able to kind of see how these practices and see how cohesive we are when we're playing against this other competition pretty early compared to other teams.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Have you ever been overseas?
I have not. Actually just got my passport about 2 weeks ago. So getting ready for that.
Nice. So what's the general feeling about, playing some of these other teams and being able to make a trip like that?
Yeah, we were talking. I was talking with the coaches today. Just most teams kind of use the summer just to slowly put everything in and build that team chemistry and all that. Whereas we have about a month and a half, and then all of a sudden we're going and playing against other teams, and we're trying to implement our offense, our defense, our inbounds, our sidelines, like all this stuff that you normally don't really have ready till about the fall. So you get towards those kind of scrimmages. But, we're getting thrown in the fire early and you get tested early, and I think it'll really help us to kind of tell us where we're at and what we need to work on and what we're good at already.
So with this, what would you say like the goals are for the team, or what would be a success for this? Obviously, maybe a lot of what's on the scoreboard may not matter as much because this is preparation, it's scrimmage, it's exhibition. What would you feel like it would be a successful trip, with what you could potentially accomplish overseas?
I think a lot of it offensively is probably going to be execution. And, I think, once again, like you look at the Olympics, it's the same kind of thing. Like when you put teams together and have them practice a little bit, like you can kind of see like who's been playing for a while and who hasn't by the way when guys are supposed to be in their spots, or if they want to run plays right, or whatever that may be. So a lot of offensively, I think we're just going over there to try to execute, make sure we move the ball well, and obviously we want to shoot it well, but just kind of having that chemistry on offense and figuring out how each other play and be able to, figure out how to play with each other as well. And then defensively, just being able to talk and be like, as a whole, be like connected on defense, because sometimes you can play really good defense, but if everyone's not on the same page, then it doesn't work. So just kind of making sure we're all on the same page and like I said, keep building that chemistry and figuring out each other as we go on.
So, Tucker, I've got kind of one last question, because I want to, and you may not be able to answer this because we're so early in the process, but it's kind of about the forward position group. You got guys like you. Of course, you kind of fit into the wings as well, but there's guys, you mentioned Carson Templin, Pavel Stasic, Isaac Davis. Like, how do you expect that to kind of maybe work out as far as, like, how you guys try to fit together as far as lineups and things like that, trying to make things fit, in a 5-man lineup?
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be interesting to see as we continue to progress. One thing Calhoun's done such a good job recruiting with is that everybody can, kind of space out and shoot a catch and shoot three. Like, that's the biggest thing for us. And so knowing that that just makes it so much harder to guard. But like you said, I just feel like we have so many ways we can attack a team. So, for instance, like if we want, if we think Isaac Davis has a mismatch when we're playing against somebody, I can always move down to the 3, and he can play the 4, and then we can always have like Aubin at the 5, and then that's just a really big lineup. And so there's so many different lineups we can do, and we can adjust how teams are guarding us or how teams might try to scout us. And so I think that's going to make us really good and really dynamic this year.
Well, Tucker, we appreciate you coming on, letting us know a little bit more about you and your journey to Utah State. Best of luck as you guys head overseas. Cool opportunity to go see some unique parts of the world, really, and have this team come together in accelerated fashion for the upcoming season. So wishing you the best of luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you all so much.